Welcome back to Unplugged. Jack, Super Bowl is picked. We got the Eagles versus the Chiefs, but the Cowboys went a different direction. Brian Schottenheimer, their offensive coordinator. Thoughts? It's written all over your face.
The last thing I expected to be a topic today was the hire that we made for the Cowboys.
But you're a Cowboy fan. We got to celebrate.
I have no opinion.
No opinion.
It's, like you say, it's on my
We,
face.
we thought Dion might, entertain that, but I guess not. I guess
He
Jerry
told us.
Jones is still
Remember,
the
he
biggest.
told us.
Yeah,
He say,
Jerry
"Yeah, we
Jones
talked."
is still the biggest star over there.
He said,
It ain't
"Yeah,
about
we
what y'all
talked."
thought. It ain't about what y'all thought, though. Anyway, man, let's shift gears and welcome to the show our brother, friend of the program, Keyon Dooling.
K Dizzle.
What's happening? What's up, soldiers? Y'all good?
K Dizzle, what's up, brother?
Everything good, man. Slow motion, holding it down over here down south. You know how we do.
Appreciate your time, man. Excited
Of
to
course.
start getting you some reps on this
Thank you,
side,
brother.
working with the company. But let's get down to it, man. We had a sit down interview shortly
Yeah.
after you were able to touch the soil again. And what has been the feedback? I mean, you were open, you were vulnerable, you told your truths, you lived up to your mistakes. What was the response back, and how is it kind of getting out and talking? Because I've seen you on a couple other podcasts since.
Yeah, man. It's been a warm reception. You know what I'm saying? To a certain degree. Because I
To a
don't listen
certain
to
degree.
because I don't listen to the outside noise, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? I only love who love me. So the naysayers, we need them. We need those impressions. We need their opinions as well, because you got to always have naysayers. You got to have doubters. You got to have haters, right? You know what I mean? I think it was Mano who said, like, if I got a hater, I need more, right? Because it's like, it's a part of the journey. But it's been great, man. That interview, was a great springboard for me. It was cathartic. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to release some things that I might have been holding in. It was authentic. It was
Hey, hold on. Break that word down for me.
What's that? Cathartic? It's just like a
Yeah.
release. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, when
Okay.
you get a
Okay.
release, like when you give something, you know what I mean? When you put words to things you might be holding on to.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when you kind of, you get that release, and it's like a cathartic experience where you just like, okay, I got that out, right? Because I don't want to dwell in the past, right? Because the future is too bright. So, you know what I mean? It was a great experience, man. I think we got over 2 million something impressions, bro.
Love
You
it.
know what I mean? Just
Love
from
it.
the clips and all the different platforms and things like that, man. So I really appreciate you guys for allowing me that space to, share my journey, part of my journey.
On another side, and I hope you don't mind that we share this, like the real life has kind of kicked in, job opportunities. I mean, you were known as a great teammate, great dude. You'd worked in the league since you'd been out the league, but now opportunities, you told me, I don't need to say how many doors, but doors have been shut. And like, how does that hit you? Because again, you are a good spirited guy that made a mistake, has owned up to a mistake, but now real life is real lifing.
Yeah, shit is real. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, I always worked around the game. You know what I mean? In the front office with the Celtics, with the Players Association, with the Utah Jazz. So I always been around the game, and that's really the life that I led. That's all I really known. But I've also, been able to, be a speaker, be a consultant, and do things outside of just the game that allows me to earn, that allows me to feel value, that is in alignment with my purpose and my calling. And so I'm putting it together. You know what I'm saying? Nobody didn't say this shit was gonna be easy. Nobody didn't say that anyone owes me anything or anything like that. Like, when opportunities don't necessarily like knock at your door, that means you got to go out and you got to hunt and gather, and you got to put it together. And so, like, at the end of the day, man, coming on the platform with you guys gives me an opportunity to express my skill set, kind of reintroduce me back to the culture of the game. But we gonna, like Kendrick say, we gonna be all right.
Yeah,
We
facts,
gonna we
facts.
Hey,
gonna be all right.
we're definitely gonna be all right, bro. You know how what they say. People that's miserable and people that haven't achieved nothing, that don't believe in themselves, they have a fan base too. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So you know what I'm saying? Doubters, they got a fan base too, man. So it's a lot. You have to have people like that, because you are still in the small percentage of people who was able to make it to the NBA and be
Yes, sir.
successful. So
Yes,
you
sir.
understand what it takes to grind and to get that back. So that's one plus that you have, my nigga. That's one thing I know about you. You know how to hustle and get back. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of I don't relate to people that never been through nothing, KD. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I don't
Straight
relate
up.
because I've been through so much in my life and still
Straight
going through
up.
something. Like I was just saying, my niece just got murdered last week. So
Oh man.
we gonna always go through stuff, dog. But the men we are, the pride we take in being protectors and providers, it's gonna and the faith we have in God is gonna always get us through whatever we going through, bro. So I know you're gonna be all right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's coming together, bro. I ain't complaining. You know what I'm saying? Like I could have
Mm-hmm.
complained when I was on the other side of the walls. At
Right.
the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, when you working, 2 jobs, in a federal place and you're getting paid $50 a month, you know what I'm saying? Like that's humbling. Like,
Right.
the things that I'm putting together now are more lucrative, you know what I mean? More fulfilling. I get to sleep in my bed every night. I get to lay next to my babe. I get to wake my kids up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I get a new opportunity every day to grow, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a part of the journey. Like one thing you're not gonna hear me do is complain or anything like that. I'm gonna put my head down and I'm gonna fucking grind.
There you
Yep.
Straight
go.
like that.
With that being said, we about the halfway point, a little bit
Yeah.
past the halfway point of the season. We're going to talk about some awards and what we've liked thus far and what we haven't liked thus far in the season. First up, big years. Guys have made jumps, most improved category. I mean, there's a bunch of guys out there. But in your mind, KD, who have you seen make the biggest jump this season?
Ooh. You know what, Matt? It's awesome because there's different kinds of jumps, right? There's jumps that like, role players make that make them more impactful. And then there's jumps that guys who have superstar potential can make. And so I think Cade Cunningham is somebody you kind of got to start off with. Statistically, you know what I mean? He's made a big jump in the assist category, but more so than just the assist, it's the presence and the winning plays that he's made. He's always had good stats. He always could get a bucket and things like that, but now he's doing it more efficiently, and it's translating into wins for his team, right? So Cade is somebody I think, who's made a big jump this year, even though statistically with points it hadn't been a big jump, but assists, yes. I think Dyson Daniels out in Atlanta, his impact on the 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 defensive end in particular, which I think is so undervalued in our game. Like he's making winning plays. He's checking the toughest cover every night, and he's doing it. You know what I mean? Ones through threes, pretty much. You know what I mean? As far as position and having that defensive flexibility. So I think he's made a great jump. We can't discount what Powell has done with the Clippers, right? Losing PG, losing that kind of bucket, that kind of impactful generational talent, and to increase your scoring by 10 points when everybody kind of wrote the Clippers out. Like I think Norman has done a fantastic job with that. And so yeah, there's some other guys that you can mention as well, but those three kind of stand out the most, like, kind of from my vantage point.
I like what you said about Cade, his presence. It looks like the game is slowed down for him. And the fact that he has the Pistons in the middle of the pack, 5 or 6, if I'm not mistaken, it's a beautiful thing because Detroit's been in the toilet for a minute. But they got a lot of young talent, and he looks like the kind of like lead by example type guy, the guy that just goes out there and does it right and plays the right way every single night. So I definitely like what Kate is talking about. And then, yeah, I mean, Norm Powell, my Bruin brother, I don't think anyone saw. He would show flashes. He went on runs last year where he was averaging, above 20. But to boost your average by 10, and, he and James Harden are a big reason, right, why the Clippers are still afloat, why Kawhi is working through some stuff. So I like those. Stat, who's on your radar?
I'm going. Well, I'm going. I'm gonna give some props to somebody who I think took a big jump this year, and also a guy who took a big jump. Now he's in the MVP talk. I'm going the same team though. I'm going from a start with Evan Mobley. I think the way he stepped up and played this year. A lot of people was talking about him last year that he might not pan out. Da 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 da. He don't have this motor. Da da da. This year he really stepped up and been that second guy, and sometimes the third guy, and sometimes the second guy over there in Cleveland. And then I got to give Donovan Mitchell his props. He's definitely MVP talk now. the way he's been playing there and the way he's got Cleveland playing in the East right now. So I think just those two guys alone have made a big step, and it's a blessing that they're on the same team, having the same good year at the same time.
No, that's a good call. I like Jalen Johnson over there in Atlanta. I mean, again, not a huge number jump, but he's at 19, 10, and 5. This young kid is starting to figure out the game. He's long, he's athletic. I got a chance to see him work out because he has the same trainer as the twins, and he goes. I love his motor even in the workout. That says a lot about these young players. So, really like what he's been doing and really starting to make a name. 19, 10, and 5. That's, those are serious numbers right there. But Jack, good call on Evan Mobley. We've seen what Donovan Mitchell's been able to do as far as, he's been one of the best bucket getters in this league. But the jury was out with Evan Mobley. He got his money, and people weren't really sure. Okay, did they throw this money away? But I definitely think he stepped up and really starting to come into his own, man. So it was our consensus most improved player for this season.
I'm going Evan Mobley.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Norman Powell for me.
Good call.
That's a good call.
I'm gonna go. I don't want to go the same as anyone else. I'm gonna go Cade Cunningham for what he's been able to do and where he has his team playing right now. Up next, the most surprising team. There's been teams that the league is so young now. The league is so young when you look at who's leading the respective conferences. But there's a handful of some real surprises. So Jack, I'll start with you this time. Who is your surprise team thus far this year?
I will have to. I'm still going to go with Dallas, considering they have without Luka. They've been missing Luka all year, and they've still been able to hold on and play. To play well, and win big games, and hang around. When you lose a guy like Luka, you struggle. You really, really struggle when you use a star like that. I think everybody on their team and J.K. have been able to keep this team together to being somewhat close to the team they were last year. It's kind of hard without Luka. So I'm going Dallas, man. I think Dallas is a team that should be completely at the bottom without their star, but they're still holding on.
Who do we know what's wrong with Luka? Calf. Okay. Yeah, no, I remember the game he went out. I just didn't. I didn't see what they said. I'm not mad at that pick. KD, who you got?
It's a few teams that kind of stand out to me. I think the jump that Detroit was able to have. You know what I mean? Has been tremendous. JB Bickerstaff, man. His tentacles.
Mm-hmm.
JB, man. JB always been a soldier, but his tentacles in the what he started in Cleveland, right? You know what I mean? Coach Atkinson is benefiting from that, right? He laid a good foundation down for them, and he was able to translate that over into Detroit. So Detroit has been a surprise. Houston has been a surprise for me. The Emi effect, right? Emi, is known for getting it done. He comes from an incredible pedigree of coaches that he's been under, and and he has a rap sheet of getting things done when he takes over a program. So those teams are surprising, but who would have thought that Cleveland would be at the top? You know what I'm saying, in the Eastern Conference. So to me, Cleveland is the biggest surprise. Though they were a good team, though they got a lot of talent over there, they've really put it together, and they've got the most wins in the East right now. So I think Cleveland, to me, has been the biggest surprise.
Yeah, no, Cleveland has definitely been impressive, and it's starting to come together because they've showed flashes at times during the regular season last year, and then hitting some roadblocks in the playoffs, but making those jumps. I like the Pistons. Last year they only won 14 games. They're at 23 games, at the midway point. And again, a huge part to do with Cade and that young crew out there, and obviously, Coach JB that you mentioned. But I'm gonna go with the Rockets, man. Second in the West, with an extremely young team. I mean, Van Fleet is kind of your OG, but Jalen Green is one of my favorite players to watch. Sengun is a beast over there. They got one of the
twins.
One of the twins.
Yeah,
the twins are nasty over there. And Jack, what they also have is they have a lot of assets too. If there's a way that they can maneuver, although they're sitting 2 at the West, I still think there's some teams come playoff time they're going to have trouble with, but they have a lot of young assets too. So, watch them as we approach the trade deadline. Who's the head coach over there?
Hemi and Doka.
Oh, Udoka, yeah,
Udoka.
it slipped my
Udoka.
mind.
Yeah.
You know, he was a gritty player. You know, he was
Yeah, he
someone that
was.
played in the league with
That
us. You know, he
dog.
was always
Yeah.
a dog. You know what I mean? So he's been able to have that same mentality. You know, going through some bumps over there in Boston and be able to re-land his feet and establish himself as one of the best young minds in this game. So I'm taking Houston. Jack, you got who'd you got, Jack? Dallas, and then Katie, you got Cleveland.
Yep. Cleveland. They've
Hey,
been a
hey, hey,
surprise team.
hey, don't forget, he may come from under that San Antonio tree, coaching tree
Yeah,
too.
yeah, they
Straight
mentioned
up.
that. Yeah,
Straight up.
he mentioned that. Definitely the pedigree. Um, Disappointing teams with high expectations
Couple of
this
them.
year that we thought, you know, we're going to definitely do more and possibly even contend in their respective conferences. KD, who jumps out to you, or who are a few teams that jump out to you as just a big disappointment this year?
Yeah, I mean, look, you can't predict injuries and things like that. I thought New Orleans would take a jump, you know what I mean? But, Zion's lack of, availability has kind of like slowed their growth and things like that. I thought they had some momentum. But to me, you got to look at the Sixers. You know what I mean? And kind of the roster that they've assembled. When you look at that roster across the board, you got solid backups and role players, guys who can plug in, but guys who might not be able to keep you at the upper echelon if they have to, like, produce
Can
and
really
play,
carry the
30.
load. Really carry the
Yeah.
load.
So I know injuries have plagued them and things like that, but I have to say, I think Philly's been the most disappointing team record wise, in my opinion, thus far.
Jack,
I got two teams who I'm totally disappointed equally.
it's
One,
equally.
yeah, one team made a trade and thought they're gonna get better, and the other team just felt like they had all the pieces already. It's Minnesota and the Lakers. Both of these teams are depressing, man. You expected Minnesota to take a big leap. Even the year they had, now they felt like they made a trade that made them better, and they didn't got worse. And the Lakers, you got a 40-year-old that's still playing at the top of his game. But and y'all relying on him and AD to continue to get y'all to where y'all say y'all gonna be, and it never happens. And then when it doesn't happen, you try to blame it on the supporting cast. They need to stop that. It's the same old rhythm and roll with the Lakers from the last couple of years, bro, and it's just got too depressing.
Yeah, the Lakers didn't have much movement this offseason, although they're sitting at fifth in the West. You know, I don't think anyone's going to say that they have a chance to really win a championship, but they didn't have very much movement. And to your point, Jack, it's still the big one person who I think who's making a nice jump this year, though, too, is Austin Reeves. He's really playing good basketball. He's making big plays. He's handling the ball down the stretch for them and getting them in their sets or getting his own. So I really like what he's been able to do. Katie, I'm rolling with you, man. Sixers. Embiid. I think Embiid set the tone early. You know what I mean? And for this team to, if he's your guy and he has franchise, obviously one of the greatest players all time type talent, but I think his mentality is fucked up, bro. His mind isn't where it needs to be, and the grind isn't where it needs to be. It doesn't match the talent, the God-given talent. The grind doesn't match, and I don't think that the mindset matches it. And if your star player is on some, hey, I'm late every time, I'm not playing, I don't really know what's going on type shit. And then obviously, picking up PG, my brother PG, and he got that big deal there, and he struggled at times trying to find his rhythm. But they do have two good young players over there in Maxey, obviously, who has a chance to be an all-star this year, and then Jared McCain. I think before he got hurt, he was definitely on pace to be the rookie of the year this season. So they got, some good young pieces.
Matt,
but all that shit started with Embiid.
Matt, not to cut you off, PG is averaging his stats are the exact same as Tobias Harris' stats when he was there.
So yes, I saw that, like 17 points, right? 17,
That's crazy.
5, and it's nuts, because he's better than that. But
That's crazy.
he got to be able to find his rhythm, his role.
They driving my boy Rico crazy out there, man.
Oh man,
Rico
about to have both eyes closing in a second. He already got that Forrest Whitaker eye. Shout out to the homie Rico.
Yeah, it's been tough for them, Matt, and like so many guys like get momentum, from the Olympics, right? You know what I mean, and they can like kind of translate that into the season. But like the older you get, and depending on where your body is, man, sometimes that long grind didn't give you the
Yeah.
recovery time that you needed in the off season, especially like after the playoffs when Embiid was still struggling with injuries,
Remember
some
playing
freak
on one
injuries, some
leg.
just wear and
Yeah.
tear.
Yeah.
But like they got to get a hold on, his body because the franchise is in his hands.
Yeah.
You know what I
And,
mean?
and he didn't start playing basketball till late too. Like we start playing
Yeah.
at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So he didn't start
Yeah.
playing basketball till late too.
Yeah, yeah. I remember Luke Mabute used to have him, in Milwaukee with him and things like that. I think both of them are from Cameroon, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, he developed, that talent over time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
And it's
Gil
a
talks about
tremendous
this
talent.
quite a bit. Gil talks about, like, the mindset that you have to have when you're young to be that guy. Right? It's hard to develop that mindset to be that guy at all times. It's grueling. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy to do. And so hopefully he could just get healthy enough because when we all know when he's healthy, you know what I mean? He's tough to check. He's almost impossible to check.
He could be the best player in the world when he's healthy.
Yeah, for
and to
sure.
his defense, I mean, how hard can he really work in the offseason? You know what I mean? Too hard? Are you going to get hurt? In the offseason trying to get yourself. So, like you said, I think he made a great point. He got to get a hold of his body because he's going to need that thing. The biggest apology of this season, a lot of people have been written off, whether it be players and coaches. And two guys come to mind with me. One being Russell Westbrook and the way he's just been appreciated and shown the respect he deserves and the love he deserves in Denver. And him and Jokic, to be able to be teammates that have had 2 triple-doubles in the same game this season. Looks like he's having fun. He's smiling. He's talking shit. The crowd loves him. I mean, his numbers aren't jumping off the page. I mean, he's 13, 6, and 5. But we know in any given night he could be your leading scorer, with 30 or 40 and throw out triple doubles still and really being able to get along with Jokic. And I say second man is James Harden. I love what him and obviously we spoke Norman Powell in the last awards ceremony, but what, nothing short of amazing. When we've talked a lot about, him kind of forcing his way out of situations and not coming in shape and but he's back at the crib and he's really hooping and he has his team in the thick of it. I think 5 or 6 in the West, maybe in 6th place right behind the Lakers, but 22, 8, and 6. He's someone that can still give you, a ton of those big breakout nights. So those 2 former Oklahoma City Thunder, LA natives, I really think that everybody owes both them an apology. Jack, who you think? Who you got?
For me personally, because I know I was one person killing him after the playoffs he had last year against Dallas. I'm going Cat. I'm going Cat, man.
Good
Cat,
call.
in Minnesota, he was shooting all those threes in the playoffs, and everybody wanted him to be inside. Like, man, Cat done. You know what I'm saying? Even Minnesota felt like that, and they got him out of there and sent him to New York. Now look at him in New York. He got a new breath of life. He feel like he at home. Yeah, Big Bodega out there balling, man, doing his thing. So I gotta go with Cat. He always been solid with me too, but a lot of apologies need to be headed his way as well.
Yeah,
Jack, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. And I forgot about him. And it was interesting to me because I thought he's someone that would do well on the big stage. And as we mentioned, Minnesota made this trade thinking they were better than themselves. And Cat obviously took offense to that. And, he's at 25 and 14. At the Garden. Every night he's putting on at the Garden. And, he's loving it and playing great basketball. Jack, I love that call, man. Shout out Cat and what he's been doing this season.
Okay.
Cat doing his thing. For sure. For me, it's Jason Tatum.
Ooh, okay.
Like JT is 27, I think 9 or 10 boards a game, 5.5 assists. And then on the defensive end, Boston is one of the best defensive teams in the game, and they switch pretty much 1 through 5. So at some point, you know what I mean, you got to defend. He's rebounding, he's defending, he's playing championship ball. He's doing it amongst all the noise, right? Like he gets a lot of criticism.
Hate, not criticism. He just gets a lot of hate. I mean, there's podcasts out here that are just saying, and it's my homeboy. Was it Brandon Ginger or Sean McCants? One of them two from Gil's Arena or I think it was BG.
I think it was BJ.
Come on, bro. BJ. Like, he just be taking strays for no reason. And obviously, he's coming out, keep in mind, he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. You saw he didn't even fuck with Coach Kerr the other day. He definitely seen Coach Kerr lingering. Man, I'm off you, motherfucker. You didn't play me at all. But, the discrepancy where everyone wants him and Jaylen Brown to butt heads. But I'm glad that, their chemistry is great. But I like that call too, KD. I don't necessarily listen to Jason Tatum slander because I'm a real basketball mind and I know how good he is. Like the rest of we know we don't listen to that. Like Jason Tatum, cut that shit out, bro. He's top 5 in the world.
That
So
boy good.
for sure.
Cold.
Last but not least, I mean, some people have this a runaway. Some people have it a 2-man race. You can throw one more in there if you'd like. This season's MVP. Let me just run through. Let me run through some stuff because Ray said the same shit earlier. Let's start with Giannis. Top 5 in points, rebounds, and double-doubles. 31, 12, and 6. And they're currently 4th in the East after the start they had. Jokic has better numbers than his previous MVP numbers. Top 3 in points, rebound, and assist. 30, 13, and 10. The Nuggets have the 4th offense in the league and currently sit at 4th in the West. And if it's unanimous, if it's a no-brainer, I think you guys would talk about that boy SGA at 32 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Thunder number 1 in the league, top 6 offense and defense, and they're doing it with someone who came out with, and to me could have had the breakout year or the most improved player of the year. And Chet, the way Chet was playing this year before he got his back or lower back injury, he was playing some special basketball. So Stack, I'm gonna start with you. This year's MVP will be
a little boy from Canada, man.
Woo-wee.
SGA.
Yes, sir.
Listen, not even just the way his play is like his attitude. That's what I fuck with. Like nobody can't fuck with me on or off the court. I'm the flyest motherfucker. I'm gonna come in and give you 30. I ain't hanging with none of y'all. Y'all don't see me out with none of these motherfuckers talking to them, drop my bars on my Instagram. Like his whole demeanor I fuck with. But the way he's playing on the court, man, I just think he's just showing he's showing last year he felt like he deserved it. You know what I'm saying? He always been in that talks, but this year he came in this season thinking like, you know what? I'm gonna separate myself from everybody and force y'all to where it ain't no competition. It's a shoe-in that I'm MVP of this season. I think he definitely deserved it.
Rarely are you as cold off the court as you are on the court. But that motherfucker SGA is cold off the court too. He's got a lot of isms to who he is and what he stands for. KD, who you got?
Yep. So I'm gonna piggyback off of Stat Jack. You know, I think SGA is his time. I thought last year could have been his time as well. I think, like when we were playing, they diversified who was the MVPs because there were certain guys who could really win the MVP every year.
Every year.
Right. And sometimes they go by wins, sometimes they go by statistics. Sometimes
I think they moved the goalposts for certain people. If we're being honest,
yes. Russ was triple doubling for years, right?
They did it with Bean with Steve Nash.
Yeah, come on, man.
Come on now. I just think that it's good for the game for SGA to kind of get that under his resume, right? Especially as the league gets older and you have new emerging stars. I think, this helps sell the game. Though he played ball at Kentucky, he's from Canada, right? So it is still that international, though it's North American international nevertheless. So I think SGA, with the success that they've had as a team and just statistically, analytically, and the winning plays that he makes, especially in the crunch time, I think SGA, deserves to get that MVP this year if he stays on this track.
Let Trump tell it. Canada's going to be the 51st state. So, ain't no fucking telling what's going on over here. I'm agree. I think this is our first unanimous. I think SGA is the pick, but not only for everything that you guys have mentioned what he's done, but the way Presti has this fucking team set up. You know what I mean? They're gonna have some tough decisions to make. I don't think they can pay everybody, but the collateral they have, the picks they have, and all the stuff they have coming down the pipeline, and then the young team they have. You know what I mean? That Williams boy. Obviously Chet. What's his name? The Lou Dort has turned himself into someone. You remember when he started, bro? He couldn't even hit the rim on 3-point. Like they were booing. He's turned himself into an elite 3-point shooter and one of the best defenders in the game. And I think one thing we can all appreciate as former players, they all fuck with each other heavy. The dog pound fucks with, and that shit means something. You can win without, you can have beefs, but those teams we've all been on teams that when everybody fucks with each other, it just makes that shit so much better, man. The journey is that much sweeter. So I definitely think it's unanimous. It's Vegas picks, it's DraftKings picks. for MVP. Real quickly, before we get out of here, I'd be remiss without mentioning our brother Kobe Bryant, man. 5 years since him and Gigi and those others lost their life on that plane. I can't believe how fast it's gone by. KD, give me your best Kobe Bryant memory.
You know what? It's hard to have one.
Okay.
I was at his last game where he went off. I remember meeting him, 15, 16 years old out in Vegas. I did the Round Ball Classic. But for me, like the personal part of Kobe, like, when we play the Lakers, Kobe's like, hey, KD, tell your family I'm going to come out and say hello. We're going to take pictures for any of your family or anybody that, like, it was those little intimate moments where he took time, to just kind of check in with me, to say hello. To just kind of, show an extra little bit of love. We both were with Rob Pelinka at the time. And man, Cole, just for me, man, not only was he an inspiration and a motivation, he just was a man of respect, especially like as he grew in his personality. He made you feel like you were the only person in the room when he would have a conversation with you. So I would just say those moments after the game when he would take pictures with my family, my friends, and things like that. I wish I would have got more pictures with him. You know what I mean? Had I knew then what I know now.
Right.
But yeah, it was just those little intimate moments where he took time out for my family.
Jack, it's been 5 years, man. 5 years. What comes to mind when you think about Kobe?
Not only the episode. I mean, we hold that dear to our heart. His last interview. I think that means a lot. But I'm a say kind of similar to what KD said. Doing Kobe's farewell tour, he came here, played here in Atlanta, and I was able to bring my son Steve Jr. to the game. And like KD said, this was his farewell tour. So the hall is filled with people. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in there. But I mean, he saw me. Class of '96, been knowing each other forever. And he saw my son, bro. He pulled my son to the side. Not only did he spend time with son, but it was about 30 minutes, Matt. The bus waiting on him, man. He got a line. But just that, like he said, just that the person he was to spend that time with my son. My son will never forget it because I know I won't ever forget it. You know what I'm saying? But just for him to spend that 30 minutes knowing all these people waiting on him and knowing how much that meant to me and my son, dog. I just, I miss him more. I miss him more as a person than a basketball player.
Absolutely. Man, well, rest in peace to our brother, man, and sending love, positivity to the family. KD, hey, man, we appreciate.
Matt, same question to you because you know him just as well as anybody.
Yeah, I just think it's the human side that you guys mentioned. That to the twins, it was Uncle Kobe. You know what I mean? He literally, from the time they got there, 4 years old, got every shoe released to them boys. And then once they started playing, their whole team got every single shoe. And literally a week before he passed, they got his last shoe that he puts out. And then, love Vanessa, since Vanessa's been carrying it on since. So these motherfuckers got
she taking care of me too,
probably than everybody. You know what I mean? So just the love in the way we were able to see the human side of him. Him coming to the twins are 8 years old, and he coming 2 hours early to watch them play at 8 o'clock in the morning, and they don't play. Him and Gigi don't play till 10 or 11. So it's just the other shit, Jack. Obviously we know how great he was on the court, but being able to know the true who he was, outside of the Mamba is something I'll always, cherish. KD, man, we appreciate your time.
Of course, man.
We will definitely have you back. I love what you're doing, man, and we're praying for you, and you always got a home over here at All the Smoke, bro.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it, man. Matt, I'd love to just give a quick shout out to my boy Chris Bernard, who just passed away.
Yeah, man. Rest in peace.
Worked for the Knicks, worked for the Players Tribune, had an immense impact on my life. And, man, we've been working on this documentary, since before I went in. And, I got to make sure I bring that to a close, and honor his memory and things like that. So I just want to take the time, rest in peace, my boy Chris Bernard. Thank you for all that you've done for me and a lot of other players across the board.
KD, one of the real good dudes in the league, one of the real good dudes. And crazy enough, when we did our interview with you in Miami, I was like, bro, let me get his number. I ain't talked to CB in a minute. You know what I mean? And the fact, like, you just never know.
Never know, brother.
Man, rest in peace to Chris Bernard. KD, we'll talk to you soon, bro.
Okay, champ. All right, Stat. Holla at y'all.
Appreciate you, bro.
You know it's love.
What up? This is Matt Barnes, one half of All the Smoke, and I'm really excited to announce our new partnership with StockX for 2025. You already know how particular I am with my shoes. That's why I rock with StockX. They have access to all the early releases.
Doesn't matter if you're hunting those rare Jordan 1s or trying to find the latest drops. StockX is your bridge to sneaker and streetwear culture.
Plus, their market data lets you know exactly what everything is worth. You know I've been collecting all the Travis Scott Jordans, but now with StockX, there's price transparency. No more guessing what's fair. You see exactly what things are selling for.
Hit StockX.com right now and level up your collection. StockX, now you know.
This episode is brought to you by Boost Mobile.
Boost Mobile is now a legit nationwide 5G network. I know we stay joking, but let me take a second to put on my serious voice. Because this isn't a joking matter. Me personally, I would never joke about a 5G network that has invested billions in building 5G towers across the country.
Me neither.
Not even once.
Me neither.
Feel me?
Boost Mobile is now a legit nationwide 5G network and also provides coverage across 99% of America. Seriously. Visit boostmobile.com or your nearest Boost Mobile store for more information.
The Boost Mobile network together with our roaming partners covers 99% of the U.S. population. 5G speeds not available in all areas.
I want to welcome the newest member to the All the Smoke Fight family, one half of the dynamic duo, Ring Champs. I want to welcome right now, Ak. Man, you and Jack were just talking about this. This has been a long time coming.
Yeah,
you know, you guys have been cooking this up, and you're finally here. You'll be doing a weekly show.
Yes, sir.
Called Ring Champs, and what can our fans in the fight space expect from you guys?
Well, first off, thank you for having one half. Barak, for some reason, he has an old soul and old technical skills, so he couldn't get on. So I have to take the lead on this. First off, thank you guys for accepting us with open arms. You know, me and Stack, we built a great rapport and a friendship over the years. He's a huge fight fan, and I don't know, 7-8 months ago, he said, "Ak, we got something big coming. I want you to be a part of." And you know, I stayed in his DM and texted him too, but I had to be patient. You know, we've been with the Zone for 7 years now. Also called Fights on Overtime. We were on Sirius XM, so we've been in the boxing space over a decade. And it's great to, you know, work with these big networks and travel the world. But we've always had a dream to partner up with a platform that saw us also as partners and have ownership in our brand as well. And there's no better platform than All the Smoke. Now, and I'll just say to you guys, I'm not blowing smoke. You and Stack, you guys inspired me in this space. You revolutionized podcasting. Like, you guys are the pioneers pretty much in tapping into a sport, but also bringing the cultural side of it that didn't really exist in boxing. So it's something that Barak and I pride ourselves in being that bridge from the casual fan to the hardcore fan.
Bro, I want to say welcome to the family as well. I know we've been talking about it a while, and you gave us our props as far as, you know, where we are in the podcast space and what we've built with the production company. But I want to give you a props too, because you're a big reason why I'm a big fan of boxing, why I start educating myself of boxing. A lot of times we watch the sport and we hear a lot of people talk, but it's not people that we can relate to. You know what I'm saying? We talk the same lingo. You know, we understand the same words and the same phrases to get people to understand the real inside of boxing. And being a fan, in order to understand it, you have to have somebody you can correlate with, you can relate with. So and that's what y'all do for me, bro. Y'all and other people. Shout out to Showbiz too. I watch y'all because y'all been in the game longer than me. But I got this the main question I have for you. How do y'all feel about Benavidez and Morrell fight coming up?
Hey, before you answer, never, you know, always late, never. I mean, better late than never. Welcome to the show.
Darkness.
Hey,
is he officially here though?
Yeah, he's
Hey,
in.
man,
But-
can y'all hear me though? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. So,
we
someone
can hear
said you
you.
had the Jack in the Box, Wi-Fi. They found out and came and they called the tow truck because you was in the parking lot in Jack in the Box trying to steal the Wi-Fi.
Well, listen, why do you think I'm in the room now? I need this deal so I can step that
Come
up
on,
to
man.
Verizon.
Let's get it now. But welcome, obviously, the other half.
Thank you.
Barak,
thank you.
Ring Champs, what you missed. Welcome
Welcome
to the
family,
man.
my brother.
We
Oh,
appreciate you
appreciate you,
guys,
man. It's
man.
good to
We're
be
just
here.
singing your guys' praises. But Jack, go ahead. Yeah, what do you guys think about the upcoming fight?
I'll say this, you know, David Morrell, I've always been a fan, even though he doesn't have a lot of fights and, you know, the mainstream fans might not know who he is, but he's a real threat to David Benavidez. He's one of the guys that I was saying when people were saying Canelo needs to fight Benavidez. I said, hold up, there's another guy that's his size in that division, that I like to see him mix it up with first. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, Cuban fighter, southpaw, super skilled. He can hit hard. I like Benavidez. I think, obviously, we all know he's a phenomenal fighter. Stack, you spent some time with him. Hell of a guy, hell of a talent. But I think this fight is going to be a lot more interesting than most people think in terms of the shot that Morrell has on Benavidez.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the whole Benavidez' whole career, he's always been the bigger guy, and then he steps up to 175 for Vazdik. That fight didn't look like all the other fights he had when he's knocking people out. He's hurting them. He's punishing them. So this is going to be that test. Morrell is his size. He's big. He moved up to 175. They both come on all fights where they didn't look too spectacular. But outside of that, these guys are good fights. Morrell just fought a guy named Hot Rod. He's a problem. You know what I mean? He moves too much. He's herky jerky. He's hard to look good with guys like that. So I think he's better than what he looked that night. I think Morrell is a serious problem. If Benavidez could beat Morrell, he's the goods.
It's a lot of talk about weight training right now. It's all in the air about Bud and Canelo fighting. We've seen, we talked about it earlier, and I'm like, if you're one of the top fighters, and you have the opportunity to throw a rehydration clause in, then I think you should do it at certain times, because I gave him an example. Ryan Garcia came into the Devin Haney fight not worrying about the money, not worrying about the belt. He just wanted to knock him out and win the fight. So that's why he didn't care about the weight or nothing. He wanted to come in bigger on purpose. Do y'all think that the rehydration clause should be implemented by guys who have the power to implement it?
That's a great point. As a team, and whether you're the lawyer, the advisor, the manager, your job is to create the best situation for your fighter, right? So if the opposite team is willing to accept those clauses, then power to you and your team to give you an advantage. This sport is brutal, no question about it, and the fans might not like it. But if you're on the other side of that and you feel like this is going to put your fighter at risk where he won't be healthy, he won't be 100%, then don't accept the clause. But if you accept it, you got to live with that. And I agree with you.
Well, Stack, I'm going to say I understand your point, but I come from I remember one time I was having a fight in the street and I threw a kick. Now I'm a martial artist. You know what I'm saying? I threw a kick and I was 13 years old. And everybody was like, oh, man, you cheating, bro. You know what I'm saying? It was like, you cheating, bro.
I came to win. What you mean?
You know what I mean? I'm like, what? I kicked his head. Bah! It was like, yo, you cheating, bro. Yo, no. I'm from that cloth where the streets, they talk, bro. The streets be talking and they be like, nah, you can't do none of that stuff. So if you want to submit your legacy and you got a rehydration clause, it ain't going to go right over the fans, man. So I really don't like that.
I ain't mad at that. I feel that.
I just think the problem in this sport is that fighters want to be as big as possible in a certain weight class, which is why back in the day they used to weigh in the same day, early in the day. This way, you don't have an opportunity and too much room to be as dry as possible in the weigh-in, and then on fight night you want to gain 25 pounds and have a serious advantage against your opponent. So I don't know. I don't agree with Barak on that.
So at the same time, then you fight in your weight class and go down. I'm not too mad at Tank when Tank do it because Tank is so small. You know what I mean? And he's fighting these big guys. But at the end of the day, then don't fight these big guys. Then.
So does this fight happen with Canelo and Bud?
It looks like yes. I think when Turkey get involved, money's not an option.
All bets is off.
His Excellency wants that fight. Bud wants to fight. Canelo is just in London with those guys. So it looks like it's going to happen. We don't know if it's going to happen in May or September, but to my understanding and my sources, the fight will happen.
I got two more questions. Fulton and Figueroa too.
Oh man.
See, that's a good one. Once you see the guy who already won, you kind of got to go with the guy.
They up in weight. This is a heavier fight this time.
Yeah, and that means they probably both more comfortable. Especially Figueroa. I would say especially Figueroa because he seems like a bigger guy, but I think skills pay the bills. So I guess I'd go with Fulton.
Yeah, I'm with Barak on that. I think Fulton is a talented fighter.
Plus, he got a chip on his shoulder right now.
Yeah.
You see that, right? He mad. He angry.
I interviewed him.
You see that, right?
Yeah, he say, no more cool boy. Yeah, I'm back to Scooter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with Scooter. I like him. I'm going with him for sure.
Okay, Tank. Just come on. We got to talk about Tank coming up.
Okay. Look, Tank is obviously he's a heavy favorite in this fight for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Tank is one of the best fighters in the world, no question about it. Skill-wise, he's in the top 5, maybe even top 3 in the sport. He's that explosive, right? But he's yet to have that marquee victory outside of when he won a title, I don't know, 8 years ago against Pedraza. I'm not saying Tank can't beat the big names. I'm saying he hasn't been in there with them yet, right? And no disrespect to Lamont Roach, who obviously is a credible opponent.
He knows Tanks well.
Yeah, he does. He does. I just don't think he's quick enough to deal with somebody as explosive as Tank. And I think Tank is just too talented. So I got to go with Tank. You know, I thought you were going to ask me about Tank and Shakur or a fight down the line.
Hopefully we get to that. Hopefully we get to that. Yeah, I don't want to disrespect Roach. We'll get to that.
We'll bring y'all back for that.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I feel like Roach is a good opponent, but when you look at track records, he already took a loss to somebody like Jamel Herring. And then you look at Tank. Tank is like, he barely had close fights. He had a close fight with one fighter, and that was Pitbull, only because he hurt his hand in the 10th round. You know, so it's like, it's kind of hard to go against Tank. He's so explosive. He's so talented. And at the end of the day, Tank is one of the very, very few in boxing, probably in the history of boxing, that you don't really have the great names on your resume, but we still see that you're great. That don't happen much. Maybe it happened to Errol Spence early. Certain guys it happened to early, but hardly ever. And Tank is that guy who just seems like he's very special.
Well, before we get you guys out of here, you guys recently sat down with Jake Paul. Let's take a look at that clip.
It'd be big.
But all those there was 4 conversations happening at a time with different opponents. Mm-hmm. It was, Tommy, Mike Tyson, and so.
Can we hear the other 2, please?
I don't know if we
come
want
on.
Give us something
exclusive. Come on.
I'm just trying to pay my exclusive shit.
I'm trying to pay my mortgage.
A lot of exclusive shit.
But did you see his fit?
Logan Paul.
What?
What was that?
Logan Paul, yeah.
You serious?
Yeah. Only, and I talked to them both, if it was going to be a straight up, true, real fight, right?
You would really fight your brother in a real fight.
That was a moment.
He would.
That was a moment where we looked
at it. Well,
this is a brutal sport.
You kind of just turned red a little bit.
No, but it's because that was because I was screaming. No, but I'm okay with fighting my brother because I wouldn't have to be the one that dealt with losing. So seriously. So like emotionally, if that would scar him, then he shouldn't do it. But if he's going to sign up, I don't have to be the one to lose. And bro, it's like, it's me and Mike hug after. Right. Me and Anderson Silva hug after. Like, bro, it's
but you would take it easy.
Sport.
It's different though.
No. It's a sport.
So if you're he used to beat you up when you was a kid, probably.
Which also plays into it.
So you guys got a chance to sit down and talk to Jake, and so the fight with his brother was a real possibility, huh?
Yeah, and which was surprising to me because coming from being an amateur fighter myself till I was 75 fights, my brother and I, we 1 year apart, and I would never, ever fight my brother,
That's because he beat you behind, that's why.
No, he's smaller than me. I used to spar with him. Don't get me wrong, I sparred with him, but never would fight him. So that was odd, but they have a different type of relationship. You know what I mean? I don't know if that fight would have done the same amount of numbers like the Mike Tyson did. But, I've always been in support of Jake because he's a guy that didn't really have to go into this space. This sport is a brutal sport. He's taking risks just like everybody else that steps in that ring and training just as hard as the professional fighters. So I've never called him a YouTuber. I call him a professional fighter that just so happened to start late in his career and is taking the sport serious. So I'm not one of those guys that throws any shade his way. I like what he's doing. I respect what he's doing. I definitely wouldn't support him fighting his brother.
Sure, I look at it like I got 5 brothers. I would never lay a hand on any one of my brothers. But for 20 M's, they might jump me. They might jump me. I got to fight all 5 of them. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel what you're saying. I understand you and Shamir, you guys grew up in Gleason's gym together. Y'all not fighting. Y'all love each other. But if it was 20 M's behind that ticket, I think y'all would fight. Y'all look at each other and be like, yo, let's do this for our family. You know what I mean? And I think that was, at one time, that was Jake Paul's end goal. Like, we so big. Logan's big. I'm big.
Yeah, but you talking about guys that are getting money already.
My brother.
You talking about guys that are getting money. Me and my brother are broke, so maybe that's just something to consider, right?
That's what I'm saying.
But these dudes already been getting money, so it's a different story.
But when you get money, you just want money. I buy $1 million house now. I want a $5 million house.
Yeah. No doubt. Would you guys fight any of your brothers? I don't know. I'm not sure if you guys have siblings, but
I lost both of my brothers, man. I wouldn't fight neither one of them. We never had a fight. We had arguments, little wrestling around the house growing up, but throwing punches, we held our animosity for other people.
Yeah,
right.
not me. Yeah,
Right.
I held smoke for others. So no smoking, no smoking a fan. But you guys can catch that full episode. Jake Paul and Nikisa drop Wednesday on All the Smoke Fight YouTube. Man, welcome to the family again. Congrats on your guys' success. We're excited to have you guys' experience and knowledge under the umbrella, and we can't wait to see you guys, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. I just want to thank you guys too for accepting us. Thanks to Brian Daly and even Dre being a part of the team and all of the staff at ATF, man. I'm excited to be a part of the family and looking forward to us all working together.
Barak, now that you're official, man, I'm going to make sure we get you a Wi-Fi package out there.
Oh, man, that's all I need, bro. That's all I need. It's over. It's over once I get Wi-Fi.
All right, man. We appreciate you guys, man. We'll talk soon.
I see you at the fight, bros.
Absolutely.
So that's a wrap. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you check out Unplugged on All the Smoke Productions YouTube and the DraftKings Network. Recently, our brother Andre Ward sat down with David Benavidez. Take a look at the clip.
How do you envision this fight playing out February 1st?
This is going to be the best fight of my career so far, the best performance, because you know when you get them camps where sometimes stuff ain't good, but then you get the camps where physically, emotionally, mentally, you're getting your rounds in, you're getting the runs in, you've been training for like 3.5 months and everything is just flowing good. And even when you vision stuff in your head, it's looking amazing. So for me, this fight, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna put on a great performance, and I'm going in there to try to knock David Morrell out. Which if I get it or not, I don't know, but I'm definitely going to beat David Morrell, but I'm going to be in there trying to hurt him every single round.
You think he's going to bang with you, or you think he's going to try to move and be
He's definitely going to try to, I think he's going to move around first. He's going to box, and then I might, entice him to a firefight, but if it's for me to hunt him down, me to cut the distance, me to counter while he's trying to counter me, I'm 100% ready for everything.
You take care of your business February 1st. You better be a B-ball rematch. Your sights are set on the winner, right? That's why you in the light heavyweight division, right?
Yeah.
Who would you rather fight?
I sparred Bivol. I sparred him a lot of times, so I know him. I know him personally. I know him more as a style. But I feel like both those men, I had to be at 110% because both of them, they're the top, they're the elite, they're the upper echelon fighters. So I don't know. I'd beat both of them, but
you definitely want either one of those guys.
I want either one of them. Yeah.